And good evening, Trojan fans, and welcome out to walk-ons on a Thursday night. It's always something, huh, ain't it, Coach?
It's always something.
Look, that's the warning signal that you have, like when it's time to the steam whistle at the factory or whatever that is.
I was looking down, returning a text message, and I heard it, and I said, uh-oh.
Now it's on. That's exactly right.
That's all right.
Big shout-out to walk-ons here, and, of course, Sadler's Towing for bringing us this playoff edition of the Thomas Bachman Show. Brett, let's go ahead and get a shot of the crowd if we can. All of the crowd that's in here, let's take a look at them. They are here and been out here since a little before 6 o'clock, I believe, getting set in. So beautiful crowd, still room. There's room outside. We've got a speaker that we'll set up outside, and you'll be able to hear everything that is going on. I am Doug Gann, alongside of my broadcast partner, Nick Magnano, and, of course, head coach Thomas Bachman. Coach, it's here.
It's here. Missed you.
Look, it's last week.
It has.
I was like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights on Friday night. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Just, Coach, take it in. Look at what we have, the crowd that's been here. There were times that we were back in that little room, and it looked full, but this is nice.
Yep, this is some of the best parts about it to me. It's just the family, the gathering, just the relationships and everybody enjoying each other's company. Kids have put in a whole lot of hard work to be here. And, when you get moments like this where, it's not the practice setting, it's not the game, it's not meetings, everybody's just relaxed. Now's the time to enjoy it. They're certainly doing that.
Look, indeed they are, and we couldn't do this, of course, without the folks at Walk-Ons here that have been so hospitable to us now as we're in the second half of year 5 coming from Walk-On. So it's been a lot of fun. And you had the lemon butter chicken again. That's been a thing all 10 weeks, 12 weeks now.
When you got something you like, why change it?
That's right. You'll notice around the way, too, there are the poinsettias that are out there from our friends at Doug Young Nursery, and that was set up by our man, Nick Magnano. Nick, tell us a little bit about the poinsettias before we kick this off.
Yeah, they're ready. They're changing colors. They're ready to go. We're going to start delivering next week. What you see on the camera there is it's a large, that's a medium, that's an 8-inch there for $13. We have some smaller ones that are 6-inch for $7, and our large is 10-inch is $22. You can get in touch with us at DougYoungNursery.com or go to Doug Young Nursery Facebook page. Mary Jones is our contact for that. You can contact her at 318-748-8214. So appreciate
the rumor of you delivering to everybody is not.
I delivered the ones in here.
Right, I got you. There you have it. So maybe it'll drop some of those off to our moms and folks that had been here throughout the season.
Yes,
as our way to say a big thank you to them.
Yeah, I was telling some of the players whenever I was handing them to their moms, I said, these are the moms of perfect attendance for the show. So y'all make sure that y'all understand that whenever you go to school. But no, just we appreciate Doug Young Nursery. That is Ms. Marsh and Samantha are my employers. I do work at a different location, but you can drive through. They're open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday is 8 to 3:30, and then on Saturday it's 8 to 12. So can drive through there and look at them. It's a great place to take pictures too at the poinsettia house that we have.
Well, indeed it is, and a great place to be tonight as Walk-Ons. Coach, finished up the regular season in record fashion at 10-0. Congratulations, first of all, on such a tremendous season.
Thank you. Incredible year so far about the kids. Just so much more to accomplish, and so I hadn't thought much about it, to be honest with you, other than very proud of our kids. I mean, embraced every challenge that's come along, and certainly will continue to do so.
And I sat back, and we talked about this, I think, last season a little bit. That ambiance is very loud in the ears. The ambiance is very loud.
I didn't know if everybody else was getting it.
Yeah, it's very loud in here. I think that's a little bit better. We said last year when we talked about the schedule for this season, and you started looking at state champions and started looking at everybody, it looked favorable having a lot of games at home, but it's one of the toughest schedules that we've seen in a while, and you guys just seem to approach every week the same, that was the most important game.
Yeah, I think that has been the approach, and it's been a lot of fun around the office just to watch everybody, on a day in and day out basis, their approach, and how serious they are about, trying to comb through it and make sure what we're presenting to the kids is going to give them an opportunity to be successful. But yeah, there's been no weeks off. You've got to put your head down and you've got to go to work, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Obviously there's a lot of fun in the winning. We say that inside to the kids all the time. The real fun's in the winning.
Right.
Sometimes Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon aren't a whole lot of fun, but Friday night at 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's a lot of fun. So, but the preparing and having to prepare and, just having opponents that, it demands your best and being able to meet the challenge has been a lot of fun and very rewarding.
Right. Coach, let's talk about the crowd that was there. I know we probably not going to talk much about the game,
part,
but and I watched a lot of highlights, since then. Watched, our broadcast and watched some.
Just in my headset.
Watch some other highlights, other media people, and everybody kept mentioning to whenever they interviewing your players, interviewing you, how they just kept talking about how great the atmosphere. So talk about that again.
Well, somebody said. I think I was watching the LHSA network or whoever. I was going back and watching a broadcast, and they were just saying, this is the best atmosphere we've been in all year. And so, I've said it many times, going to continue to say it. I want to say it for about a month more.
Right. Yes.
It has an impact, and we're very appreciative and, anticipating another one tomorrow night. I can already hear the horns. I can close my eyes and just put myself in that setting, and I can hear those horns, and I can hear that energy that's going to fill up the stadium, and I know the kids feed off of it. And I mean, it's made a difference, and it was pretty awesome.
Yes.
Look, perspective is certainly something. I went back and I watched the other broadcast, and they hate the horns, and they hate this. And I was like, that's right, that's home field.
Home field, yeah, it's home field advantage. And, those kids in the student section
they're earning it.
Yeah, they're I'm pretty sure they're tired at the end of the night from all of it, but
we've added an on-field camera back for tomorrow night, so we expect to get plenty of crowd shots and just and have that element brought into
overflow crowd. Obviously, huge ball game, a lot of attention on it. It's rare that I don't know how many times, I know it's happened before, but to get to week 10 and have two undefeated teams play each other doesn't happen often, and
right.
So. It kind of felt like early in the year people were showing up to some of the games like, all right, let's see what this is. And, it feels like it's gotten later in the year and, where there's an expectation and there's an anticipation,
that's right.
In the air. And that's certainly appreciative. And, all I can continue to tell anybody that'll listen or, anybody that asks is we're going to do all that we can to continue to put a product out there and perform, in a way that makes the supporters of Alexandria Senior High proud. And I know the winning has a lot to do with that.
Right.
But it's also the way our kids play the game. And I do think that they've truly embraced the spot a ball and compete.
Well, it's not boring at all. I mean, that's the one thing about it. You go back to the Rams of old days, and it might get me in trouble for doing that, but looking like the greatest show on turf this year. I mean, it's just a lot of fun to get those guys and to watch the precision. You look back over the stats from that Neville game, and you look back at all season. You guys run the ball 52 times last week. 52 times carrying the ball. You don't throw the ball one time in the second half, and that's being able to put a game away.
Yeah, and that was just kind of the flow of the game. We're able to build a 3-score lead going into half, and then we were, come out and be able to eat a bunch of game clock and build it to a 4-score lead. It's like, all right, they're not going to get a whole bunch of possessions if we don't let them have possessions. So, I think we're a pretty balanced offense. We talk around the field house, that we have a lot of confidence in our kids, in the ability to attack you multiple different ways. And, a lot of the personnel just, confident in their ability to make plays and their level of intelligence and understanding of what we're doing. But when you can basically ice a game the way that we did in the second half, that was very proud of the kids, the offensive line, as we've talked about. they deserve a lot of credit. The ball carriers and the skill guys get a lot of recognition, but that group up front is the one paving the way for them.
Yeah, Coach, you talk about running the ball. JT with 30 carries for 206 yards, but I want to talk about Vaughn. You know, I mean, he ended up with 17 carries, 88 yards, and we talked before the show that he doesn't necessarily get those carries at the end of the game on blowout games because he's so important to your game. So just very good to see him. He was actually our player of the game.
Security Sporting Goods player of the game.
I mean, that run that he made there on the first touchdown in the second half is, you know, something we've seen in practice for multiple years, and very proud of him, and need him to have a big ball game tomorrow night, and as we continue forward, need him to continue to be that player. We feel very, obviously JT gets a lot of touches, and but when he comes out of the game, what we call and how we call things doesn't change. We got a lot of belief in Vaughn and his ability to have a huge impact on the game.
Well, you talk about Vaughn and the word. When we posted our Security Sporting Goods player of the game, there were so many comments on there about what a deserving young man he was, from players, from parents, from coaches. Everybody is just rallying around the work that young man does.
Well, when you show up and you do it every single day, you gain the respect of a lot of people. It's not what you say always; it's what you do. And he's been doing it, throughout the off season, going back to, to January, doing it just. Didn't have many bad days. I can't think of a bad day where it's like, man, what's up with Vaughn today? We just went in there and went to work, and was proud of him. Certainly love to see him get those type moments and their hard work pay off.
We're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, let's go. Yeah, Chuck's getting geared up for the crowd cam one more time. We'll take a look at that awesome crowd that is out here tonight. When we come back, we will talk about we'll wrap up our talk about that game, Coach, and I want to get to talking to a lot of people. I think Coach Arthod is here with us tonight. He's going to come and visit his first year here, and we'll kind of talk about his experiences and things that he's had.
He's been awesome.
We'll talk to some of the players that are in here tonight. That's right, Coach. OJ is here
together.
Look, we'll absolutely do that. And it's just a great group. And we'll do all of that when we come back, guys. We are live from Walk-Ons. A lot of time to still get out here and come visit with us. It's a tremendous night. It is playoff game eve. It's the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing. We'll be right back right after this.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. Speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
Now we're back live to walk-ons on a Thursday night. It is the playoff edition of the Thomas Bachman Show. We've got a couple of the coaches in here. Coach Kyle Arthod is here. Coach OJ's in the house. And I think it's Coach Kyle, it's the first time that we've spoke to you.
Yes, sir. Yep.
What do you think about the crowd and this type of setup?
This is definitely something. You don't see this a whole lot where I come from. But.
Right. Which is, introduce yourself for those that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kyle Arthod. I hail from Northeast Missouri, Hannibal, Missouri. Pretty competitive football up there, 4A. A little different down here in Louisiana, to say the least, but.
They certainly love it out here. Of course, you're part of that defense, and Coach OJ is out here. You guys have a pretty big test tomorrow night with that offense that's out there. What do you do to prepare for that?
Let's go out there and watch film. Look at what they do on the offensive side of the ball, and then just get the best look you can. Of course, we have an offense that spreads out and throws the ball around some, and so they're able to give us somewhat of a look of what we're going to see this Friday night.
It seems like two very identical teams, the way that they run tempo and the way that they come after it. So you guys have been getting a look at that, gosh, all season. And your defensive backs, the secondary that's out there, what do they look at? I mean, who are they, without getting into specifics by any means, how are they anticipating this challenge? Are they excited about it?
Oh, yeah. I think that's what's great with this group of kids. We're young. We're young across the board, but they rise to the challenge, and they love this. A high-powered offense coming in. We see high-powered offense every single day in practice. So if anything gears us up for this, it's definitely the whole year, the preparation going into it. But with this week especially coming in, it's get your read of your first keys, but be ready to play the scramble. Be ready to play the scramble with it.
And that's one thing that we've seen from their sophomore quarterback, Pop Houston, is that he'll get out of the pocket as well. I don't know that I've seen them play teams that are going to put the kind of pressure on maybe that we will. And you guys can put a little more pressure because your secondary has been pretty locked down.
Yeah, it's got a really good test for us tomorrow night. The kid's really good. Heard nothing but good things about him. Seen a lot of good things from him on film. We're just gonna go out there and do what we prepare for all week long.
Look, Mercer somewhere enjoys this, but when I turn the chair, that means business is getting serious.
Yeah.
I don't think that I've said. I know you and I have talked and had conversations a long time. Yeah. And when I ask you these questions and you just smile and think about it for a minute, I know there's a plan going on up there. I know that you guys are ready for this. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, we look forward to these kind of games. You enjoy the big ones. I mean, there's a bunch of storylines with this game going on. We really look forward to the challenge of playing against somebody that has the kind of tradition that Evangel does, and the caliber of players that they have.
You speak about that tradition. Now, head coach has been there off and on. I mean, since the school's origination on there, was the coach of Coach Bachman as well back then, and offensive coordinator as well as pastor. I mean, there is a lot of tradition that we'll get into some of that with him. Has there been any type of grief or any type of he's saying, look, let's take it easy, or let's not, or is it out the window that's his alma mater?
Oh no, that's out the window. At the end of the day, our job is to go and win ball games.
Right. Especially this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he's been good. He looks forward to this first time. He's ever played against his alma mater. But he's been great throughout the week, handling all of it and everything that comes with it.
Look, the number one thing, Coach, and we talked to you a little bit earlier, so I want to get your thoughts on how it's grown on you too. But it doesn't. All the guys that we talked to, opponent. I don't know, half of them know the name of the opponent. They just know that this is what we're getting ready for. Has that kind of been the mindset up there? Is it this is week 12?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this group of kids, this is what makes it fun to be a coach, because they're willing and almost eager to take on, all right, who's the next? Who's the next? Right. Especially with the schedule we have, the district we've grinded through. These kids rise to the occasion and welcome the challenge of the next best team.
How has your comfort level and your growth progressed through the season, knowing that you just come in and have to handle your part of it?
Definitely throughout the season, being with a great staff, especially on the defensive side, see these guys 7 days a week, and the communication we have, the film work we do, and knowing the kids that we have is going to work hard, definitely got more comfortable throughout the year, kind of fitting into my niche of, doing whatever I can to help out defensively with the D-backs and the special teams, stuff like that.
Right.
And I'd like to say running scout team QB, which I think is very important.
Absolutely. Did you break contain a lot and run around?
I tried. I certainly tried.
It's hard to break contain on that group.
Yeah.
You still got some left in the tank.
A little bit.
That's right. Can you throw it down the field still?
Some days, more than others.
Look, I'd have to throw it twice just to get out of the shotgun to the line of scrimmage. That's we'd go under center a lot if I was quarterbacking just to make it out there. How's practice been this week? Everybody's confidence level from the week off, and I went out there last week and saw there was that we're back to square one on this too. How's the adjustment been? Okay, the week is off. We're through with the bye week. Now here's what we're preparing for.
It's been good, man. The kids are ready to go. They're ready to see someone else. They've been getting after each other for 2 weeks now, and they're ready to see another opponent and see another color on the field.
What has and we talk about this every week. You turn around, you look up, and I know it's there. You hear the crowd. The crowd has been more intense this year than I think I've ever heard. How does that get your guys fired up?
Oh, I mean, for anyone, having their home crowd there to support them, especially with the horns that we are mass producing and bringing in.
Everybody talks about the horns, that's right.
But I think it's awesome. You see, obviously I'm new to the area, but these kids are, seeing the community support behind them, seeing, all the love that's pouring in, and that only fuels what we're trying to do.
Indeed it does. Coach, you've been around it a few years here, and one of the things, the crowds in the past have been good crowds. I mean, this year's crowds have been the best that I've seen, even in that trip in 20, because COVID year it was just different. But they're learning how to cheer and when to. And I mean, on a fourth down play, it gets as loud as it ever has. And in the past, maybe it's fourth down and don't know that this is a big moment, got to get into it. What is your thoughts on just the way the crowd's been?
It's been really, really fun, being here from the early days of where this program was and to where it is now. It gives you a sense of pride, not only for the work you've put in and for the kids that are on the field playing, but also this community, they have something they can come out and enjoy on a Friday night. It's been really, really fun. I'm really proud of how our town has bonded up for us on Friday nights.
Indeed they have. One last question for you, and then we'll get you guys back to your tables there. The progression of that defensive line that's on there. You've had Mason, you've had Nelson out there. Hobbs has really come on in the second half of the season. Talk to me just about the defensive line play and how they've gelled towards the second half of the year.
They've just continued to get better every week. Elijah's one, he played really well last year as a junior, and he's just continued from where he was last year. And Jordan really emerged, early on as a leader and, show up every day for work and just get after. And then with some of the other guys, Thibodeau coming back, and he's just been a monster for us each and every time we go and play somebody. But then you look at Hobbs, switching over from offensive line last year and his growth as a defensive lineman, and then Ethan Richard, he has really come on here and added some depth for us on the defensive line, And when I talk about Ethan and Peyton and Thibodeau and the things they've done, to help us become who we are at this point in the season, it just brings me a really deep sense of pride, for those guys, the work that they put in every day.
Right.
No, they are really, really tough.
Look, that's the one thing that I've seen that has grown so much through the year. And I got to attribute the offensive line and the defensive line. And I got to believe that whatever second period or third period is, when they're down there on the right side just banging off of each other.
Yeah.
Get into a game and all right, we can rest a minute too, because these guys go after each other.
Yeah, I've been around football a long time. I I haven't seen a whole bunch of kids, willing to go and do that not just willing to go and do it every day, look forward to it.
Right, yeah, and they do. They smile about it, and they don't maybe when it's going on, but after it's over with, there's that sense of accomplishment. I said that was the last one, but there's one more. Tell me about how excited you guys were with that Jaden Lewis interception last week or 2 weeks ago when he pops it up and goes from there.
Oh my gosh! First, great job.
Hang on. You might have known we started talking about him, and he wanders up here. That's right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Got stuck in our orbit.
Right.
But no, put himself in a great position to even be there to get a PBU, pass breakup. Right. Tips it up to himself, athletic enough, awareness enough to make the play and secure that for us. And that's just great to see a senior guy like Jay Lou, make that play. Yep. I don't know what week it was, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe Ruston, where he dropped the pick that maybe he should have had.
Yep, that he thought would have probably iced it to go down and make the stop after that, but it didn't deter him at all.
Yeah, and just that speaks to the great senior leadership, just the great group of guys we had that are just ready to make a play. Like when we need to play, let's go seal it. Doesn't matter who it's going to be. We have guys that are willing to step up.
Well, indeed we have, and we've had those folks step up all throughout the season. Looking forward to a big one tomorrow night, and how that solid ASH defense against that juggernaut of Evangel offense. We'll see what happens out of all of this. Guys, thank you for being a part of it. Coach OJ, Coach Kyle, we appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us.
There you have it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get Coach Bachman, we'll get some of the players, and who knows what will come out of this playoff edition of the Thomas Bachman Show, live from Walk-Ons, brought to you by Sadler's Towing, and right here on 446 Sports.
At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible. So if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
In central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hall. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hall at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible. So if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer. And you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use. Anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Live at Walk-Ons. It is the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing, and great segment with Coach Arthod and Coach OJ. It was great to have them here, but I've got a couple of the stars for the team, several of many stars on this offensive and defensive unit. Of course, JT Lindsay and Xavier White is here with us too. Guys, welcome.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you.
Look, it's been, you guys are pretty much the leaders in what I have to say next. The damage you do on the field, and you get here on the mic is like, and then don't say a lot on there too. What is it about those white lines that just get you guys going?
It's just a whole different level, like a whole different ball game. Like a single tie almost when we're off the field, but when we're on the field like Superman.
There's no doubt about it. X the same way. You're probably one of the most reserved players when it comes to interviews, but in all of the footage that I have of practice, that's not even close. Anybody, you ask them who the hyped up guy is, and they're going to tell us it's you.
Yes, sir. I just like to get my teammates hype. I like to get them going. So I know if I bring that energy, they're going to want to bring it too.
We love it.
Was there ever a time like, look, you're just a junior, it's not your time yet, don't do that? Has that ever been the case, or just?
Oh no, man. Lead if you want to lead.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, it's been a tremendous season for you guys. Still a lot of work to do in this one. I remember Coach Bachman talking to you, I think the practice before the scrimmage, and he says, people aren't going to remember what you did your senior season. He's going to remember what your team did your senior season. You remember that talk he had with you?
Yes, sir. Leaving behind that legacy.
What does that mean to you to be able to say, we've got a chance to finish off something special this year?
It feels great because we already did something that ASH never did before, leaving behind a big legacy. But to continue to do that and win the state championship, which nobody have done for ASH,
that's right.
It's going to be really, real big.
Is anybody rested on that district championship, or are they hungry for more?
Oh, we're hungry for more around here.
Ain't no doubt about it. Look, there's a lot of football. X, when you get hyped up, you get the fans going too. Tell me about the crowd and how fun it's been playing in front of those guys.
Oh, it's been real fun because I know if I make a big play, the stands gonna go crazy. It's gonna be so loud. And I throw the X up. Most people throw it up with me.
We got that on camera. I guess it was last week. That made the highlight video on there too. There's something about throwing the X up on it that's been a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Look, the defense has really, you've had the chance to go against this offense all year long, banging around on there. You went against some big offenses. Look in the outside, assess the work that your defense has done this year.
It all started with practice, going against these guys every single day, them never ever stopping, never ever letting up off us. That make us better, and that make us play better in the game, and it really helps us, build that character to get better and better every single day.
Has it been getting tougher going against that defense every week? that you go against in practice?
For sure. Every week, man. They bring it every week, get better and better.
Look, I was out at one of the practices maybe last week, and there was some trash talk going in between the DBs and the wide receivers. That's good. Does that seem to fire everybody up?
Oh, yes, sir. Because at the end of the day, we're teammates, but when we cross those white lines, we play against each other. You're not one of us.
That's exactly right. What do you do when you come in and say, all right, now it's the playoffs? Every week we talk about this week is the most important week. This really is. Now you're at a point where it's win or go home. What does that do to fuel you and say, you know what, we've left it all, but we're about to go leave a little bit more? X, what do you have to do to get ready for something like that tomorrow?
I mean, it's for me, I'm already excited. Like, I've been excited since Monday. I'm so ready to play tomorrow. And you know what I mean? It should just be like your second, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like it should be a second personality.
That's exactly right. If somebody's got to come in tomorrow and come in the locker room to give you a motivational speech, you probably don't need to put your jersey on. If you got to have somebody else motivate you for tomorrow night, something's wrong.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, that's JT, let's look back at the season just a little bit that you've had. I know you had a lot of goals throughout the year. One of them absolutely was the district championship. One of them was a lot of yards. You've made things look pretty easy out there offensively, and I'm not going to I know how humble you are. I know all of that. The vision that you have, I've seen you stop on a play. The game's going on around you. You'll cut and then keep going on, and 60 yards later, it's a touchdown. How do you see that?
Practice, man. Just practice, because once you get more reps, you see more things happen, so you get a feel for it. So next time it happens, you know what to do.
Right.
Especially playing against our defense every day. Playing against the best defense in the state, it'll get you right.
Indeed it will. Xavier, how does that make you feel when you hear about that? And saying, look, we go against the best D every week.
Oh yeah, it make me feel great, because like, knowing all the hard work we put in, it's finally starting to show. You know, like some people had doubts at the beginning of the season if we're gonna be able to get the job done, but every week we have shown them that we getting it done.
One of the, and this isn't a knock, and I searched for the word too, one of the things that those people talk about on there around the state is that, well, the defense has given up some points this year. As fast as these guys score, you're out there a bunch. So, I mean, anytime it's crunch time, you go back to the Opelousas game, you go back to Ruston, you go back to West Monroe, any of those times, you guys just step up.
Yes, sir. I mean, we know they're going to have our backs, so we got to go out there and have their backs. And Coach Mertz always tells us if they score, if they get a big play, it's always on to the next, get back up and keep on fighting.
Look, we talked to him the Thursday night before the Neville game. And I don't know that I've ever seen him more fired up. This year, he's brought it a little extra this year. Does it look like that defensively for y'all?
Oh, yes, sir. He's always pumped. Like today when we was watching film, I said, oh, yes, sir, because I'm ready. He said, I'm ready to go play too. But he said, well, I'm not going to be playing. That made me laugh a little bit.
JT, we know everybody look ahead just a little bit, heading down to LSU next year. Solid, not going any. I mean, you're LSU through and through. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's it been going down there? I know you go down there and see Jacobin. I know you go down there, and I'm sure you've run into Barry some down there. What's the sense of that group that's coming down to Tiger Stadium next year?
Oh, more like a family, brotherhood, if you want to say that.
Right.
Like, we all cool with each other, text each other almost every day. We be on the game with each other. Like, we're real tight, man.
Look, that's really good. And all the while, got to focus on finishing things up, too.
Yes, sir.
Look, I catch some grief from around the state as well because, except from your mom and your uncle, they're all on board with it. When I tell you, I don't think there's a better running back in the country than 6 from Alexandria. There's not a doubt in my mind you're the best running back in the country. So, and it's not just running, but it's your vision, it's your toughness. You get stronger. You know, in the Neville game, you guys didn't throw the football in the entire second half. 21 carries in the second half. You don't throw the football at all. That's the way to grind one out.
Yes, sir.
Look, Vaughn was our player of the game last week. Tell me about him.
Man, real deserved, man. People overlook him because he's not like the big time home.
Familiar with it.
Exactly. Like, he's not the home run hitter, but like he's a dog, man. Stuff that he do, other running backs can't do it, man.
Look, we've posted a lot of our players of the game, and we've got a lot of likes and we've got a lot of shares. I've not received more comments on anything that we've done than when we posted him as our player of the week 2 weeks ago. Just there's such a love for him in the community, in the team, with coaches, with former players, with all of it.
Yes, sir.
Look, it's tell me about the offensive line too and how you think they've gelled this year.
Man, dog, we don't got the biggest, come on, we don't got the biggest O-lineman in the state, but we got the dog, man. They got heart around here. And I love it. They got better every week, man.
Look, every time we have one of them on the show, they're just so intelligent. They're so smart about the game.
Yes, sir. They're all smart. Like every O-lineman, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. Guys, it's been great here. I know I'd sit here and talk all night, but you have to get ready for that little old tussle tomorrow night. It is the most important game. It's week 12. How you've earned your right to be home as long as you're playing in the playoffs in front of that crowd. Give you a little bit of an edge?
I love it. I love it like playing in Death Valley.
Yeah, that's a pretty big comparison there. Absolutely it is. X, I know you're just a junior, so you've got a lot of football left in front of you. It's great to see the leadership that you have on the season that you've done, leading the team in tackles by a long, long way. Reminds me of Jermaine from a few years back.
McNeil.
The way that you tackle. How do you go and find the ball so easily?
I mean, it all started off with your read. Coach Russo has taught us so well to read your keys no matter what goes on in the backfield. If it's a wide receiver motion in the other way, if you read your guard and you see the guard pulling, well, you know the ball's going. And the next thing is getting the ball on the ground. You got to wrap up and you got to squeeze.
Look, that's one thing I think that this team has done better than some teams that I've seen in the past. You guys tackle. There's not a lot of arm tackling that goes on. I've seen you work on tackling drills a lot. You guys really get after it. Is that one of your strong suits this year? Is the ability to wrap up and tackle?
Yes, sir, and I feel like getting off a block.
Right.
You know, Coach Russo, that's a thing that we do a lot. Every Monday we have something called Gauntlet, and that's where you got 3 linebackers, and then it's 3 blockers, and then 1 linebacker. You got to go sack the bag, so you got to go off of every single one before you get to the bag, and that helps us a lot.
Well, that's good work, and you see that fundamentally the practices have been so solid, and it pays off. Congratulations on a 10-0 season. That's in the past. We've got 4 more to go. Let's go out there and take care of tomorrow night. JT Lindsay, Xavier White sitting in with us too. Get ready. Both of them going to have a pretty big game tonight. Guys, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Thomas Bachman Show live from Walk-Ons. It's brought to you by Sadler's Towing right here on 446 Sports.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. Speaking of spirits, Lori even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
And we're back live from the Walk-Ons here. What a crowd it has been tonight. Man, it's just been great out here. We had seating wrapped up into the other area tonight. It's just been a lot of fun, Coach. And man, what does that do to get you guys ready for a game like tomorrow night?
You're talking about the crowd,
I'm talking about the crowd.
This builds camaraderie. I think it's people, and you can see that people enjoy each other's company, that it's genuine, it's not put on. Nobody's forced to be here tonight. They want to be here. They want to be around each other. I think that those are the things that stand out to me, is that it's genuinely a group of people that care about each other and are excited to be on this journey together.
Well, let's take a look at Evangel. Nick, take us through a little bit about the season for the Evangel Christian Eagles.
Yeah, actually, they were 5-5 on the season, ended up PR number 17, but they do have a 5-game.
18.
Or 18. They do have a 5.
Them and Huntington had the exact same power rating, but Huntington had the head-to-head win, so they actually had to flip Huntington and Evangel.
Gotcha.
Anyway, go ahead.
No worries. And then,
do you think he doesn't analyze every bit of it?
No worries. I should have went by LHSA's bracket is what I should have done. This was off of Go Preps. They are on a 5-game. They're on a 5-game win streak. They did beat Captain Shreve last week, to redeem the loss that they had. That was their last loss, was against Captain Shreve. They allow 39 points a game. They average 44 points a game. So Canadian football type stuff, if you look at it. But
playing a district with a lot of strong offense. If you look at, I think Airline's probably one of the top scoring offenses in the state. Captain Shreve certainly has scored a bunch of points. And if you were to look at that, up and down, it's a district that just scores a lot of points. So, that's some of it. It's style of play, and it's a lot of possessions that you get, and it's a lot of possessions that you're defending, and that certainly can be some of it.
What a difference in Northeast area football and Northwest Louisiana football. We're sitting here talking before a Ruston game, a Neville game, a West Monroe. We've got to really take care of the ball, because we may only get 5 or 6 possessions in the entire game. And here you may get 5 or 6 in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, predict out game flow completely, but, both offenses will be, no huddle. So, as far as the tempo and the flow of the game and the amount of possessions, there's positives and negatives to it all. You just take it one play and one possession at a time. The good old boring coach speak that is so true. And, you try and get your kids to understand that, let's get out here and let's take advantage of this possession.
See, and that's what's so dynamic about all of it, I think. You talk about, we're only going to have 5 or 6 possessions, so we really need to take care of all of our possessions. Well, here, we're going to have 10 or 12 possessions, so we can't get too far behind, because they're going to have that many as well. So, it's just, you're always looking at number of possessions.
Yeah, game flow will obviously determine a whole bunch of that, just what kind of game starts to shape up. But you would go into this thing thinking there's going to be somewhere around 12 possessions or so you don't know. But anyway, just as you look at the scores, it's just a district that has a lot of firepower, scores a lot of points. It's a really big district too, so not many of them play, get an opportunity to play many out of we played 5 non-district games. Their district is so large. I guess, 9 teams, that they only have 2 non-district games. Yeah.
That's just, as I'm looking back through there, that's just crazy. Their only non-district game was against Neville and against LCA in that one. So, goodness gracious. I think our only common opponent this year with them has been Neville.
Yes.
They started out the season with them, and you can look at so much things. They lost that one 42-24, but so much changes during the course of the season.
Yeah,
so you
week
can't go
one,
off of that
you got to think back, week 1 versus here we are in week 12. It's just a lot of change. It's fun to, to go back and, you're playing opponents that you're not completely familiar with, as far as like you are when you're in district, where you've been watching each other, even when you're preparing for, Ruston in week 8. They played Neville the week before. You're watching Ruston and you're preparing for Ruston. But yes. You're seeing some of Neville. So you get, by the time you play some of those people later in district, 8, 9, and 10, you've already seen these people sometimes a couple of times when you start to prepare for them. So, over the course of the last 7, 8 days, he really, even that week, having a little bit of film on both Captain Shreve and Evangel. You're just watching both of them, just kind of taking it all in.
And it's good that they played each other twice. You were able to watch a lot of that.
You see the progression as a team.
Right.
And I think that's the sign of teams that are still playing this year. They've gotten better, over the course of a season.
Yeah, and this Neville Evangel game was thrown together, I think, on a Wednesday because that was
week 2.
No, that was week 2.
It was week
sorry.
2. That was the Calvary. That was the Calvary Neville game.
Sorry,
So you're 0 for 2.
No, I'm sorry. I don't
on
mean
stats that he's called you out on tonight, too.
I obviously, my brother's at Calvary, so I have some ties up in Northwest Louisiana. So
I think your tree is all over the place. Yeah, you definitely.
Sorry. Sorry.
What else you got, Nick?
I did know that.
But you are correct. You are correct.
And Neville have played each other for the past couple of seasons. I know at least 3, maybe 4 seasons they've been playing in week 1.
Look, we've stayed away from it a lot, but now it's time to jump right into it. Of course, that's your alma mater. You played for Coach Duran back in that time. Some of the guys that are coaches you graduated with that are on there. Just for a minute, just for us, take us through a little bit of that.
I care deeply about those people. What Coach Denny poured into me, what I learned from him. I still use so much that I learned from him. Just the leadership, the way you coach, the way you go about your business. I can still see it in my mind. I'm still I can still remember those experiences at 17, 18 years old, and the thing that I didn't necessarily appreciate it like I should probably as a player, but the older I get, the more I appreciate how I learned good enough's never good enough, and it was very very high expectations, very demanding. You could always be better, and he would he's very instrumental in shaping and molding me as a young man, and even as a man. He's also my pastor, and I sit there on Sunday mornings and listen to him, and just all that he's poured into my life. Even being gone now, I've been gone for a long time from Evangel. Of course, I was back on staff. That's where I got my coaching start, and 2008 and 2009, I coached his boys were my quarterbacks, or were our quarterbacks, and they were prolific as can be, throwing the football, and they were a blast to coach, and winners and competitors, and all that's, things that he's poured into them too. So yes, there's a lot of ties. I've been telling, people, but Friday we're going to get in there and we're going to be playing a ball game, and it's not necessarily going to be about all that. It's going to be about these kids, and the kids that play for them. It's their time to be in the spotlight. We're on the sidelines. It's about the ones on the field. But yeah, a lot of people that I'm very familiar with, having good conversations. I ran into Brock over the course of the summer at some 7-on-7. He's got a 7th grader that's going to be a special one, that's a competitor, and just to catch up with him. Chase Pittman, Josh Alexander, some of the guys that I played with when we were at Evangel. Josh is the defensive coordinator.
He just got married, didn't he?
He got married
this past weekend.
Yep.
Sure. Show me up, Doug. With the facts. Just show me up.
Yeah, he did.
It's research, Nick. That's just what we do.
So yeah, there's some personal ties there.
Right.
Just because relationships, and that's the greatest thing about what these relationships are going to last for a long time. Doesn't mean you talk to each other every single day, but there's something about when you have good, genuine relationships. You can be gone for 5 or 10 years, boy, and you remember what you went through together and the bonds that were built, and you pick right back up, right like you never left. And that's certainly the case with a lot of this. Don't necessarily talk every day or even every year, but doesn't matter how much time passes. These are still people that you care deeply about. Virgil Williams, I see him on here.
Yep.
When I was coaching in 08 and 09, he played DB and running back for us, was a phenomenal player, was a two-way starter for us when we won the state championship in 2009.
It's just, indeed, it's a family up there. They bring a lot of pride with that team. They've been really good for a long, long time. Fell, I think, a couple of years ago on some hard times, but are picking right back up and doing everything that Evangel football does. But come Friday night at 7 o'clock, it's just that team on the other
Put the ball down
side.
and compete, and that's that's what it is. It's the next big ball game, and we've embraced it as that, throwing everything into it. It's gonna, we're gonna have to go do what we do. We're gonna have to compete for 4 quarters, and I feel like our kids are ready to do that. And I think it's so much getting in the emotional and mental right frame of mind that you have to be in, of just embracing, all right, this comes down to the final play, the final possession. Let's make sure we go find a way to win. I'm not any less excited because of the opponent. I love to watch these kids compete, and I appreciate how hard and how much they've given to us, and how much we require out of them, and I want to go watch them do it again.
That's right.
So, Coach, the boys, health-wise,
I think we're good. I think we're good. I mean, to say that you feel like you felt on the first day of camp is probably not an accurate statement, but we've had some guys with broke his wrist, broke his thumb, so he's been playing with the cast. We've got some casts off. You've got, we went through basically throughout the district run where, we had some guys that we were playing without. Jackson Townsend rolls his ankle. Right. He doesn't play every game. Kyron Griffin, he had ankle and he missed some games. Jay Tom, we just had a lot of guys. So, in that regard, while nobody's 100%, you're getting them back. And, for the most part, everybody's going to be in uniform, and we're, you feel like from a depth perspective of you're a little bit deeper than maybe you were a couple of weeks ago with, if you had to shuffle the lineup, people that can get out there and perform to the standard.
And that's a pretty good statement, saying that you're deeper than you were in the midst of your 9-0, 10-0 run.
Well, the thing that I mean is when you have injuries, people have to step in and play, and they gain experience.
Well, the only way to gain experience
when they
is
play
to gain
well,
that's right.
they gain confidence through that experience. It's one thing to be forced out there and you get your nose bloodied and there's a realization, oh, maybe I'm not ready for this or whatever it is, but they get out there and they play well. Hopefully it gives them confidence that, past performance can lead to future performance.
That's correct.
And so that's what I mean by hopefully we've gained some depth and just different positions that people can play. But, all in all, fairly healthy.
What about Jaden Lewis? If I remember correctly, that was the play of the game with his interception.
Should have been. Absolutely.
And
that was 2 weeks, but no, it wasn't.
It has been 2 weeks, but and talk about confidence. I mean, he's
played as good as anybody down the stretch.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, he has, and very proud of him. That pick that he had right there before halftime, we got the ball back with just under a minute, and we're able to go score and build that 3-score lead. Goes back to that play that he made, tipping it to himself. Phenomenal play, and ball's probably going to be put in the air a lot tomorrow. There's going to be opportunities, and they're going to just continue to compete.
You talk about that. The week before is when he had the one that at the end of the Ruston game that could have very well ended it right there. And then to come back the next week, he just flushes that, come back the next week, and makes one of the best INTs that I've seen.
Somebody asked me yesterday, what do you have to win the ball game? I don't know.
More points.
But when people, we've never really done that. This staff, this group of guys, man, we need this break or that break or whatever. We can't. You got to take advantage of the opportunities that the breaks that you get, and then you got to find a way to overcome the ones that you don't. You never play perfect, although you're trying to you're striving for perfection, and so together.
We've seen.
Let's find a way.
We've seen there a lot of coaches and different numbers that say we want field position. We want to be able to keep and fit. You guys want to score every time you get the football, and you go out there aggressively to do it.
No doubt. I mean, I think everybody. Yes, you're trying to flip field position. You're playing. You're playing good. Time-tested, sound football. I mean, there are things that win football games if you study, box scores and stuff more times than not. There's always exceptions, but, sound discipline, disciplined, extreme effort, execute at a high level, and play the game physically, you're usually going to give yourself an opportunity to be in it when it's winning time.
That sounds exactly like Nick's keys to the game right there. That's what I'm talking about. He's 10-0 on his keys to the game this year, too. So we're really excited about
He's
that.
usually spot on. He usually does a good job.
In spite.
Boy, I appreciate the confidence booster there, but
no,
I
don't mean that. Yeah, I do mean that.
But talk about, I mean, when you talk about not needing or not hoping for something specific, that's been the temperament of your team. Your team is whatever level they've needed to be at, at that moment. If it's bring down the energy to take care of a long drive, or if it's to ramp it up and go. I mean, the temperament of this team has been very, very spot on.
Yeah, very mature group of leaders that really enjoy playing football and competing. And then the young ones that are out there are probably a little bit more mature than their age. They're mature beyond their years. They've been a lot of fun there. They've been about the work, it's playoff season, guys. This is the type of year where you want to play your best football. So we're fixing to get out there and find out if that's the case for us.
Well, we're excited about it, Coach. As always, thank you for being out here and bringing this family out here to walk-ons on Thursday nights. Couldn't do it. Doug Young Nursery, thank you for the poinsettias that have made their way out to our folks that have been there. We're thinking about getting one of those turkeys with about 6 legs and bringing it up there tomorrow night. You know how they do on Thanksgiving games and give out the turkeys.
I'll tell you, I'm fixing to go get in my office and continue to prepare all the way up. I'm fixing to try and hide from the chaos, and I'm fixing to try and worry about what's going to go on in between them white lines and try and hide, because I do want to make this point. Everybody gets really, really excited, and they think it's about all the sideshow.
Right.
And it ain't about the sideshow.
That's correct.
That's all good and it's fun, and I want the kids to enjoy it, but none of the sideshow needs to affect what goes on that foot. The main thing is the main thing, and if we continue to keep the main thing, we're going to give ourselves an opportunity.
And I asked JT and X about that tonight too, and they say because they're just very quiet and well reserved until they get in between the white lines.
Competitors.
And they said, look, he said that's just what we do. He said when it's time to get on the field, we get on the field and go to work.
Be a good anxiousness, that's what it means. It's important to you.
Yeah, look, it's exciting to see.
Come out early, people. Pack the stands.
You
Gates
better
are
do
opening
it.
at 5 o'clock.
We've got a special pregame show that will begin at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Don't know what we're going to do for that extra 30 minutes, but we're just, I'd go live right now with the game. Just shut this one off and get ready and just do about 20 hours of pregame. Look, it's going to be a lot of fun. Coach Thomas Bachman, Chuck Perkins was in the house tonight. Brett Stallsby is there, my man Nick Magnano, and all of you. Don't forget, a special pregame tomorrow night starts at 6 o'clock. All of our friends up in Northeast Louisiana and around the state will go live at 6 o'clock. Kickoff will be at 7 p.m. And I got an idea. It's going to be a pretty good one. So for all of you around, we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you. I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and good night.